Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we ended up doing missions for Ordo Hereticus, and we're going to finish off this last one. Hey, it's a different upper hive this time, so it's not 3 runs through the same place. Small victories. Architect Shard... Yeah. Oh yeah, I do have these. Wow, these are not... Okay. Relic or higher, I understand, but... 11 missions to the... 11 levels to the mission, that's real steep. Chance to gain a duplicate item for each one in the reward pool, that's... Oh god, these are just not good. Yeah, I was gonna say, I checked the XP payouts. Even with this, that will give me 6k. I need 30k to hit a level, so it's not even really worth running the XP rewards, because the XP rewards in general suck in the first place. Maybe if I was, like, double stacking these somehow. Okay, critical hits, that kinda hurts, but whatever. And War Pursuit. Okay, cool. That's actually fine. We can do this. This is gonna be an experience, but it should work.
Full Auspex lock acquired. Pseudo-kinetic tracking is on, and it is being transmitted to your tactical sensorium. Eliminate negative variables for preferred outcome.
Ooh, yeah, using the staff is... That's a big no-no. Makes sense, though, when I'm dealing effectively half damage, but... God, that is very painful. This is why you diversify your damage, as much as you may not want to. I swear, if I have to deal with a Lehman Russ or a Sentinel, especially the Sentinel might be tolerable, but the Lehman Russ, I'm gonna lose it. This is the one reason why, or one of the reasons why I wish the poison staff didn't suck so much, because if I could actually leverage getting a bit of poison damage in, it'd be great. But I need a very specific setup, and that's the problem. Is it needs to be a poison staff that is built all around AoE. Because then if I can just AoE the hell out of these guys still, and then my bonus is I just get extra poison damage, yeah, this is perfect. If not, then we're in a problem. Oh, so I was bored, and I was looking up stuff for the Batman Arkham games. Because I saw the stuff for Arkham Knights, or Gotham Knights, my bad, I always screw the name up. But Gotham Knights, I already saw it's like $15 off on sale some places. I think Walmart had it like $15 off. And I got a good laugh. Because it's a laugh because it's already getting big sales like that. But it's also really unfortunate because I like Arkham games. I like Batman. I think it's unfortunate that the game isn't turning out the way it should have. But also considering the story, which I'll tell you here right now, this is a spoiler for the story. You've already experienced parts of the story. and I'll go into more detail here, it's a Lazarus pit. That is the big thing for this whole story. It's a Lazarus pit. There's just one under Gotham, and that's what the Court of Owls want. And it's just so annoying because I feel like every Batman story just ends up dragging right back to a Lazarus pit. And it's unfortunate because there's so much more they could do, but I feel like the writers aren't sure where to go. And they know League of Assassins, Lazarus Pit, Court of Owls. And while the Court of Owls show up a bit, it's not in a way that's really that meaningful. What it should have been is they should have brought in a lot more villains. And since it's all done in instanced areas, these instanced areas should have been a lot more prevalent, and the story mission should have been a lot more. And each chapter, it should have been big chapters. Oh, you gotta deal with Penguin, you gotta deal with Mr. Freeze, you gotta deal with Poison Ivy, you gotta deal with all these different people. You have a big gang war. Essentially the storyline, if you know Batman comics, it's the War Games storyline. Alter it so that spoiler doesn't appear. Have it some other way. Since Batman's dead, someone hacked and stole his information. Or they managed to get something from the Bat computer, get one of his scenarios. They trigger the War Games scenario. This results in all the gangs fighting, and you drop hints that this is all under the control of the Court of Owls. This is all their machinations. You do that. You make every chapter have hints and have subtle influences so that the whole time you might fight a Talon every once in a while. You might find a thing here or there. But it's this looming enemy that finally rears their head at the end, and that is when you have a big series of fights against them. One of the little story bits is they are making, it's either them or the League of Assassins, I can't remember which one. They're making essentially Man-Bat, the character. They are replicating him and creating additional Man-Bats to fight. That's an interesting story bit. Have that. Have all these different things so you can have your interpersonal drama and your development of the Bat family of Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Batgirl. Each one kind of coming to grips with not feeling ready to be taking over the role of Batman to a degree, but understanding they have to. They needed to wrap this up in a far better package and present it better, and it would have been a far better experience. But because it wasn't there, it didn't show itself well. So there's a lot that could have been done. But so I was looking at other Arkham games, and I looked at, what was it, Arkham Origins. Because I was bored, and I thought, yeah, let's look at that. Looking on the wiki, looking at all the stuff, doop-de-doop-de-doo, you know, normal. And I saw a multiplayer mode. Instantly, I'm perplexed. Because I didn't remember multiplayer mode. Granted, I didn't play Origins. I played Asylum, City, and Arkham Knight. But I just didn't play Origins. Mostly because we've done Batman's origin story so many times that I feel like you can't do it in a new way anymore. You're just treading very well-trodden ground. Oh, hey, you want to see Bruce Wayne's family get shot again by Joe Chill? Like, no, I have seen this. Believe me, I have seen this. It was cool the first time. It's kind of like seeing Uncle Ben die for the millionth time for Spider-Man. First time you're like, oh, Uncle Ben, no. Now you start memeing it and you start trying to laugh at an old man getting shot because it happens so often. And they just keep drudging that storyline back up. Hey, you want to see Uncle Ben die? No, please. Can we skip ahead a few years? Establish Spider-Man, maybe? But same problem with Batman. But I saw the multiplayer. I thought, oh, okay, this is interesting. Let's see what was the multiplayer. And the multiplayer was the coolest damn thing I have seen in a while. I will be 100% honest, I thought this was the coolest thing. I said, why the hell did they not continue this? So, I'll give you a rundown. You play as either Batman or Robin, depending on the level and the game type, or you play as a Bane gang member or a Joker gang member. You customize your gang member, make them look all cool. You pick his loadout to different guns, they get different equipment based on their faction. Joker gang gets like toy boxes or gifts that they're mines, and they'll pop open and they'll have a little toy mouth that'll hold a grenade or a flashbang or a camera that'll reveal their position for a second. Meanwhile, Bane Gang will get... Well, actually, Joker Gang also gets a little remote control Zeppelin that they can explode, while Bane Gang will get a drone with rocket pods. Or, they're not as strong as the single-use drone, but they're still dangerous. Or, well, it's not really or, it's an and option. There is a... The best way I can describe it is from the Black Ops series. You know Ruin? The guy who has the shockwave stick thing that he slams into the ground? Most specifically, it looks like the one from Black Ops 4. But you get that. You can place it, it'll charge, and then do a pulse that'll kill guys nearby. And you have essentially two modes. There's a single life mode, where it's 3 Joker Gang versus 3 Bane Gang. And then you have 1 superhero. And then from there, whoever survives will do... Oh my god, he's healing. But you fight, and it's either you capture some locations, or... Wow, that sucked. I think I have to kill him. But you either kill the enemy, or you have to maneuver around and capture the 2 points. If you wipe out the other team, you also have to wipe out, I believe, the hero, which is doable. Batman is still quite flimsy, and you have the detective vision, but it's goggles, so they have a temporary lifespan, so you have to look where you need to look in the time frame where they go on cooldown. I mean, they always go on cooldown, but it's just whether you're recharging from 50% or 100% depletion, and that's really important, because it essentially gives everyone wall hacks, which sounds stupid, but it's also incredibly fair, because then no one has the advantage. It's just, are you playing smart enough to not burn all of your vision instantly? Then the other mode is 3v3 gang fight, but you have 25 lives each, and then you have Batman and Robin. And the goal for the first mode was either team to win or Batman to wipe out everyone. Or Robin if he plays him. And then this other version, the 25-man fight, or 25 life fight, is you each have to capture some locations, but you can also just... If you're Batman and Robin, what you do is you end up fighting and taking... The more kills you get, the more incapacitations, you build up a meter that's you spreading terror, and if you max it out, the match ends by you essentially scaring both gangs off. But when you get dropped, you have infinite lives, but your respawn takes longer. And I love these ideas. I think they're great. I said, damn, they could make a separate game and just have more villains. Oh, Penguin's gang. They already have the assets from previous Arkham games. Two-Face's gang. You can mix and match some of the gear. You can introduce a lot of stuff. And then if you really want to, if you want to keep the heroes in play, what you do is you then say, okay, Batman and Robin play differently. Look at Gotham Knights. Each character plays a little different. They have different advantages. Red Hood is better at range. Robin sucks at range. You do something like that. You have Batman, Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin, Red Hood. 5 heroes? There you go, 5 different classes you can pick from. If you want to, you could do 3 heroes and add extra guys, so it's a 5v5. Or a 6v6. You could do stuff like that. You're utilizing essentially just stuff that exists in the Arkham games, and Gotham Knights to a degree, and making it a bigger game. Multiplayer, I think you could do a lot with. You can introduce a competitive side to it. I know I rip into esports at launch, and I wouldn't want esports at launch, admittedly, but you could have a competitive circuit built into it eventually. You could have ranked play. Are you the #1 Joker gang member? Are you the #1 Batman in the world? I remember, I think it was Battlefield? Battlefield or COD, one of the two. I think it was Battlefield. You could actually break it down by region. I remember being in, I want to say the top, it was a pretty high percentage of players in like the Midwest. As a support, I think, or a medic. And that was cool. You could do things like that. And I think people would play that game. I sure would. I'd like a lot of games, I'd probably no-life it for a good while. I've been just looking for something to really pull me in, because I haven't had that in a while. Alright, let's go find this guy who just beat my ass and go return the favor. That was disappointing. I was hoping that would give me a bit more shield. But at least it didn't reserve the energy because I was already at that limit. Ah, the grenades. What? Does he spawn mines? We're waiting here. We are beating this guy. But does he spawn mines? Because oh my god, I hate these guys. I would rather have a Heretic get the mines and grenades and have these psychers just be psychers than this weird... I literally just explode. Yeah, because it's the pattern of mines. What is this? Okay, we're not gonna have the mines active, or at least the AoE, because that seems to... Yeah, he just causes an explosion. What kind of ability is that? Just, oh yeah, I just make explosions. Again, just dead. I don't do AoE, so he's just doing it. Thank God I got to sneak by this guy, because I will waste the time throwing down, but this is the dumbest thing ever. Because he has no reason to be like that. Okay. He didn't drop anything worthwhile. 7 grand in Caligari credits. Alright, with that done, we'll fire off... What's that? 50% damage bonus, that's not bad. We'll fire off an intel. These have the chance of being essentially discount. Aw, I don't get any Ordo bonus. In that case, Psalm Code. That, and we'll just go for relics. Oh, that heat resist though. Alright, we'll take that off. No extra bonus there. Crafting rewards, that's fine. Yeah, physical resist. Go ahead, dude. Resist physical.
Several warp rifts are active in the area. Don't stay in that cesspit any longer than necessary, Inquisitor.
But as I was saying, I just haven't had a game really hold me or hold my attention that long as of late, which is a shame. I've been going back to some of the older games I have, going through, having a little bit of fun, but they just, the communities are dead, or they're good for a little bit and then the novelty wears off. Like Borderlands 3. I loved the previous Borderlands games, but 3 I just kind of played and that was it. I didn't even bother with the DLC. I could not bring myself to even bother with it. I don't know what it is. The game just... It's not the right description, but it feels like the base game wasn't complete. And that's what kind of sucks, is I love looter shooters. I love looters in general. That's why I play this so much. And it just failed to grasp me. I think that's one of the great parts about this game, though, is even if I'm not getting any cool, fancy named gear, even if I just get a generic Archaeotech, it's got some unique effect on it, or an interesting effect, and I can always just try to get a named thing. Meanwhile, with stuff like Borderlands, they had so few actual named weapons, and their effects were the big thing. Everything else was just kind of... it was there. So, a big problem too was they were very stringent in their design. I remember there was a double-barrel shotgun that every time you pulled the trigger, it would fire a pentagram-shaped blast of pellets and play a riff from, I think, the Doom 2016 soundtrack. And it was cool, but that was it. You got essentially one shot and then you reload it. It's not like Borderlands 1, I remember I used to always hope to get a good roll on Sledge's shotgun, since it was a duplex auto shotgun. It wasn't, for people who don't know what that is, it's a under-over, but it would fire both. And it was cool because it was under-over for the shells, but when you fire it, it would fire the shell, the entire area that holds the two shells would rotate so that the bottom goes to the top, and it would fire the next one. But if you had the right skills, and if you got a good roll, you could boost the magazine capacity and get 3 or 4 shots. So you'd turn 2 shots just rotating multiple times to fire 4. And it was goofy, but I loved it. And it was fun to use. Yeah, it wasn't optimal, but it was fun. And I feel like, to a degree, a lot of that fun somehow went away. And nobody... games like Destiny don't have to go to that level, but I'd like for another looter shooter to at least bridge that gap between the extremely bare bones level of Destiny and the absolutely insane gajillion different gun options of Borderlands. And it doesn't even have to have all the model changes, just perks are fine. I was never someone who cared all too much about, oh, this gun's foregrip looks slightly different and that gives me this percent boost change. Like, no, just give me different perks. That's something I liked about Outriders. I think Outriders it still has potential. I don't know if People Can Fly will make a sequel. I'd like them to, but don't know. Because they definitely got the groundwork. It is what Anthem should have been. Because it feels right. I love how these guys just sprint through all terrain. It makes sense. They're just blasting through, but it's just so goofy to watch. And I know I could play Warframe, because that's got a lot to it. I know I've seen people mention it in the comments before, saying, oh, Warframe's a good looter shooter. I have, I think, around 3,000 hours in Warframe. I've played it on PS4 since it launched. I got kind of lazy over the years because I got so worn down and burnt out, because I would get everything almost instantly. Never paid. I ground out every item. If it meant sitting in 3, 4, 6 hour hell camps in the void as a Necros, wearing down my touchpad, swiping one direction, just continually trying to desecrate, I did it. And I just got kind of tired. I love the game, I really do. I think it's fun. I don't like the void key system as much anymore, because it's more grindy. Because you have to grind for the key, then you have to grind to get the void essence to upgrade the key to improve your odds, and then if you don't get the item, you have to have another key already ready to go and ground up with enough void essence, and you have to just keep doing that. And it's a lot more tiring than just, yeah, run the mission, get a T4, this thing drops in T4, so we'll run it, see what we get.
Averted a disaster. All the warp gates are sealed, although I can still hear the echoes in my head.
Hey, we leveled up. Nice. Wasn't the greatest. Actually, that payout was kind of crap in general, but oh well. It happens. I think the level is worth more than anything, if we're being honest. What do I want to... Oh yeah, I was going to finish off this so I can eventually get to the cooldown boosts and the radius effect. Critical hit strength, yeah, that's great. Makes my critical hits better. And that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, helps out the channel a lot, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.